We are making America great again. You haven't heard that, have you?
In my view, the slogan, "Make America Great Again," is not a recipe for continuing progress. For one thing, it looks backwards to some golden age, and it's been said the main explanation for a golden age is a bad memory. In past decades, the United States was mired down in multiple wars. We had double-digit inflation and double-digit unemployment. The elderly large numbers of them were destitute. Millions of people had no health insurance. It was no picnic in the old days, despite the problems that we now have. Also, what's going to make us better off is not kind of zero-sum sports-like competition between nations. The problems facing us many of them are global, like rogue nuclear states, like climate change and other forms of environmental threats, like terrorists, like maximizing global wealth and prosperity. And none of these are going to be solved if we think of the international arena as one of each nation striving for its individual greatness. You can be a proud American or Frenchman or German and a citizen of the world at the same time, and so many of the problems facing us are going to require international cooperation. We lived through a period in which nation states competed against each other for glory and preeminence, and the results were not pretty. They included a couple of world wars. Since 1945, when we've had institutions of global cooperation, the rate of death in war has gone down, prosperity has gone up, and it's that kind of trend that I think we ought to continue to foster to continue the progress that we've made.
No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
Well, fake news is a real phenomenon. There are sleazy predators who cook up completely apocryphal news stories and try to get them circulated on social media and on the internet. But it's a terrible kind of pollution of the language for the president to call any article that criticizes him fake news. If you compare the credibility of the president's statements with those of the mainstream media, there's just no comparison. The president's been called out on lie after lie after lie. And as someone who's often written for the so-called mainstream media, for all their flaws, I know that they got fact checkers. They won't let me just write anything that comes into my head. I got to prove it. So that's kind of standard that has established the credibility of many of the news media. And the basis of democracy is that everyone can be criticized, particularly our leaders. We don't have a monarch, a supreme leader, a dictator for life. We've got a person who is temporarily in charge of the government, and when he makes an error, it is mandatory for a free press to call it out. To try to delegitimize the press whenever it criticizes the president is really the reflex of an autocrat, of a tin pot dictator in some banana republic, and not worthy of a democracy like the United States, where the president serves at our pleasure and can be criticized just like anyone else.